So what is his keys to success? And I think these are the 4 things. First of all, give. I've never talked to him. Just talk to him. He will never tell you about himself. He will always ask about you. He'll remember about your child. He'll remember what your child did 3 years ago. When you walk into one of his restaurants, he knows you by your first name. He's always about giving. What you don't see about Saul Goods or the Perez family is how generous they are for all the causes in our community. They are incredibly giving to our community. They are incredibly giving to their employees, etc. So they use the highest form of giving to a person they don't know for a purpose they don't define. And I think that first of all, is the key to their success. Second, I'll give you a little anecdotal story, so I'll consume all of his time here. But a little anecdotal story, they're opening up the restaurant downtown. So yes, my daughter's at Transy, so I'm up and down that friggin' corridor of North Broadway. I was probably running an extra set of contacts at 11 o'clock at night. This is after their first Saturday night of their soft opening. And there's Rob on it. He didn't know I was there, but so I thought, so I'll look, Why not? I'm in my pajamas, I'm in my car, and I look over at Saul Goods on Broadway. This is 11:15 at night. And there's Rob on the phone at one of the booths. The restaurant is closed. He's on the phone. His employees are walking past him, talking to him. He's putting the phone down. He's probably talking to Diane or someone. And he's talking to the employees, and they're hugging, and they're saying, and you can just see this air of, I care about you, and you care about me, and we're going to make this work. So at 11:15 at night, here's a man still trying to make, at work, on the phone, and making sure that his employees are happy. And I watched, you didn't know I was there, I was sitting at Claudaddy's watching, in my flannels. And I watched the employees leave. Now when I see employees leave a restaurant, they're out of there, they're done, they can't stand it, hope their tips were good, and I'm out of there. But you could see these employees were genuinely interested in Rob, in the restaurant, in making it happen. So there's something about what he's doing with his employees, how he cares about people. He's also this Santa Claus. Have you tried this? Try this. Go to Hamburg, go to Fayette Mall, go to downtown. He and Diane are at all 3. I'm pretty sure he's part of the Santa Claus family. So there's something about their work ethic because they're everywhere. And the last thing that I'll tell you about him, he will never, ever, ever rest on his laurels. My gut tells me that today when we hear him talk, he will never tell you how great he is. He will never tell you about his successes. He will make it all about what can I do for you. They don't rest on their laurels. They have, to my knowledge, 3 highly successful restaurants. And with that, I'll introduce Rob Perez and Diane on the side.
Hello, how are you? I'm so bad at this microphone thing, I'll tell you. Hey, I just want to kind of tell a story about why I'm up here. And I am a little bit of a fish out of the water. I saw one of the waiters and I wanted to hug him. But Janet, and I am self-absorbed in lots of ways, Janet says, hey Rob, I was hoping that you guys could come and talk a little bit about what you've done and, kind of what you're doing these days and talk about the business. And I'm thinking, oh, cool, I'm going to get up there and talk. Well, I saw a piece of information advertising this, and it said Rob and Diane is going to come up here. My wife, who really is my boss, and I'll get more into that in a little bit, loves to do everything. She doesn't like to be in front of people, and I'm going to tell her that right now. I saw that advertisement. I said, I'm going to go divorce. I'm going to get divorced right now. I know it. Janet has just caused a family rift. I went home with hands and heart going, honey, please. I promise I didn't organize this, but I really was so self-absorbed that I thought that she just wanted me, So we got through that, but I just wanted to explain that Diane is my full partner. She is not only the woman of my dreams, but she actually drives this whole thing. And as we talk about it more, we'll keep on going. Thank you. And oh, by the way, I want to pander to you, and I'm going to start with gifts. Is that good? Okay, so, and just shout it out, and I'm going to let the crowd figure it all out, for a very non-exciting thing, but it also gets better. Don't forget, okay? So for Saul Spice, what year was Saul Good? What year did they open? What year did Saul Good open? Saul Spice, woohoo!
2008.
Oh my goodness! Good job, guys. Okay, a little bit about the Saul Good story. What was Saul Good's profession? Does anybody know the story? This is helping me figure it all out. This is helping me figure out what you know. Oh my goodness, Donna's so smart. She's sharing a Saul Good mug. All right. What else? Do another mug. Okay, one last one before we get into it. This is kind of a funny one. What's our number one selling item? It's not. It's number 3. What is it? It's a
burger. Banana pasta.
what?
The burger.
What? Oh, a burger. It's true. It's a bacon burger. Can you all pass that back? It's a beer stein because I know my audience so well. Okay. All right. Well, I just want to kind of start with, kind of who helped create this whole thing. It was obviously Diane and I, but also, if you could put a picture of Chef Jeff up there. The bottom line is that Diane and I moved here, and we went to a function, and it was kind of a funny story. Our chef is very colorful. And he goes, yeah, I heard my daughter talking about Sam Perez, and I thought, oh wow, a diverse boy. I'm good with this, I think. And my daughter came running up to us at the very first autumn fall festival, and she's a little blonde girl, and came and hugged his daughter Emily, and he goes, oh man, I feel so much better. He's crazy. Anyway, so we met Chef at the first fall festival that we ever had, and really our friendship really cultivated the whole thing. He is a Culinary Institute graduate, and he's really the backbone of the product that we sell. And we couldn't do without him, and we're real blessed to have him. Diane and I, we did meet in a restaurant, and I was a farm boy. And the fun story about it is that I realized about a year before that I didn't like being alone, I didn't like being dirty, and I absolutely hated not seeing my friends. I didn't like waking up early either, to be honest. And so I was the only son of a farmer and decided I didn't want to do it. I didn't know what I was doing. I was floundering in school. I was floundering everywhere. I decided to move to the big city of Fresno. First place I went to interview for a job was a restaurant. They hired me. The very first person they introduced me to on a Tuesday lunch shift was this cute little 17-year-old hostess, and I've been married to her for 25 years. So I was lucky enough to get some pretty wonderful jobs that I didn't deserve. I was with the Hard Rock Cafe for almost 10 years. I went to work for the Walt Disney Company and developed a couple of concepts, one that you might know called ESPN Zone. And it was great. The corporate structure was really nutty for me. I didn't like it. I wasn't very good at it. I couldn't negotiate through people very well. I really like to do things, and I really have a strong personality. So many of my struggles, and we'll get onto that, has to do with what I want, not really what the group wants. And I really have to learn that every single day. But, we did pretty good, and professionally things went really, really well. And we decided that we were going to try to slow down a little bit. I got offered a job here in Lexington, and we decided to come here. Same thing. It was hard for me to negotiate the whole corporate thing. It was hard for me. I don't know how to explain it any other way. I felt like I had a good idea. I have been begging Diane since we were married to please let us open up something. I had this idea when I worked for ESPN that when we went into an unaided focus group, they said, what kind of restaurant do you want? The resounding answer back was, we don't want a sports bar. We want something that women could like, because everything turns into a sports bar. And I kept on thinking about that. then we were obviously there to pitch ESPN, and we said, well, what if they had ESPN name on it? And then everybody said, oh, I'd love that. So it's crazy how people think. And the end of the day, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Then I heard that 76% of all dining decisions are made by women. Okay? I started going, wow, what if you came up with something in the casual dining segment that really catered to women, that really tried to think about it? Is that a niche that can happen? And I always have this crazy pie in the sky. I'm a dreamer. Diane's the pragmatist and I'm the dreamer. I thought, man, how cool would it be to build a brand without the support of a corporate structure? So I kept on begging her and begging her and begging her, and finally, things happened and it worked out. And we went into full partnership. Diane was going to be a school teacher, and I got a job with a Hard Rock, and the only way we were going to see each other was if she became a flight attendant. And so for literally 12 years, we traveled back and forth seeing each other because I had the craziest schedule in the whole wide world, and we had to, figure it all out. It was great because I would have lots of time off in blocks, but I'd have to work for 3 months, and that was terrible. But we got to see the world. We got to travel, we got to do things, and we almost, the way I feel about it is we retired in reverse. So at the beginning of our life together, we did all the fun stuff, and then after 12 years, we started having children. So really, this whole concept has turned into something that is so good for our family. It's so good for our lifestyle. I can't tell you that it's not demanding, because it really is, but we've really had fun putting it together. And maybe a little bit about the business. We went into it with the knowledge that people wanted something other than a sports bar. And we went into it knowing that we wanted to focus in on women. So what we did is we, through Laura, really got to meet Janet, and we started throwing ideas out. And we really formed our whole program based on what we learned when we talked to them. So in Women Leading Kentucky, is really in our DNA. This is who we are and what we're all about. We wanted to be sincere about women, and we wanted to be very, very cognizant of how they think. I'm not one, so I have to rely on you, my wife, and everything, and it's been very important to how we try to think about this whole business. Maybe, Sonia, if you turn it to the business plan, would be awesome. Yes. Okay, so what we tried to do is we tried to define who we were going after, and who we're going after is women with nice handbags. When we thought about the business, we said, okay, if we're gonna raise a flag, and if we're gonna have a song, if we're gonna have culture and all that kind of stuff, let's think of ourselves, this business, as a country. You know how countries have logos and colors and customs and holidays? Well, shouldn't a business think about it that way too? So we said, oh gosh, okay, where do we go from here? How do we tell the story? Well, a story. Okay, well, let's think about this. What do women with nice handbags like? And we thought, how about jewelry? And so we defined a whole story about Saul Good growing up in a jewelry store family and traveling to Belgium and falling in love with food as well as jewelry. And in Belgium, there's chocolate, there's beer, there's waffles. And we grew the whole concept around that idea. And we've tried to be super disciplined about it. And that's hard. You want to try to chase the shiny thing. But we've been, I believe, fairly disciplined about it and tried to keep that. Now, it was important for us to come up with that story because we wanted our guests to understand that in a way that they might not know the story, but they knew that there was some consistency and some congruency with this. The whole idea of building a brand in our mind is if there's 100 things that add up to that. So is there ruby red soffits? Is there gold walls? Is there chandeliers? Is there mirrors on the walls so that you can see your jewelry? That's the kind of things that we really try to concentrate on in terms of building a brand. So this is the business plan that we first put together. And the thing that I want to kind of point out to you is this was before we ever even tried to cook any food. It was before we built anything. And so we went out and we found pictures of what we wanted to be. So if you could just see that, that's before we built anything. The food, we tried to stay, again, super disciplined towards it. Even the decor, we tried to have pictures of. And so this was all prior to us opening, okay? Now maybe flash forward to the number 4, if you could. And this is our business plan, a filter that we put out on a large scale like we did before here, and having Janet help us, market to you and ask you questions about it. We worked real hard at it. So we're proud of what we do, but man, we've made a lot of mistakes, lots. And we've had a whole bunch of challenges, and when we were asked to speak about this, the question was, man, would you share some of your horror stories? And yeah, we would, because we hope that someone could learn a little bit from what we've done in the past. And I don't know if it's like this for you, but things I care the most about are the things I mess up the most. Probably the worst thing that I have to deal with is trying to figure out how to hold people accountable for excellence and not crush their will to survive. My standard is so much higher for me and my employees than I should have a right to do. I devalue people sometimes. I do bad things. One in particular, I really messed up. And there was a guy that I humanely probably should have let go after 2 months. It wasn't right. He was kind of not terrible all the time, but he didn't do the right things most of the time, just a little off. And I would have conversations with him like, hey, brother, I feel like I'm beating you up. I feel like this is bad for your soul. And I don't know what to do, but I'm just going to keep on doing this if you're okay. But I need you to look me in the eyes and say, I'm not going to hate you at the end of this, and this is okay because I really want this job. I don't know. I was looking for some reassurance that my beating him over small little things like forgetting ketchup bottles on the table when you have desserts, which seems so minor, but it's so not what we're trying to do, that it became just 2 years of beating this guy down. Well, he would do things like be on his phone all the time. And Diane caught him on the phone, and she, we'd had enough. And so she says, you've got to tell him that he's got to go home. I go, yes, dear. So get a load of this. It's a Friday night, and it's super duper busy. And I take him in the walk-in and say, look, it's not good. I want you to go home, I want you to transfer your tables, and I want you to get out of here. He says, what? I have to transfer my tables? I says, yep. You've been on your phone, everybody's running around like crazy people, and this is unacceptable. We've had this discussion 100 times. He goes, okay. I said, okay, do the right thing, go tell your tables that you're gonna transfer the tables and go from there. So, it's a little dicey. So I walk behind him, and he leans over the table. He says, hey, I'm going to give my tables over to someone else because the owner's an effing a-hole. Okay? So I go like, hey, that's not right. That's not good. So he proceeds to do that to a second table with children. So it's Friday night, and it is a line out the door, y'all. Okay? He says, don't eat here, as loud as he can. This place sucks. He took off his shirt in the middle of the restaurant. He threw it at me. It was terrible. And instantly, I realized that wasn't his fault, it was mine.
Yeah.
Instantly, it's hard. When you care so much about something, and really the employees we do, it's just, you want so bad to be great. And sometimes you do just such the wrong things. And I did, and I feel so bad about doing the wrong thing with him in particular. But, really along the way, I've done it to other people. And I guess, how do you balance that all? That's really my biggest struggle, is to try to figure that out. And it's hard. Yeah, the guy's up here crying. Good job, huh? But, that's hard for me. And I just want to be so good, but I mess up so bad sometimes with employees. And it's just something I have to keep on working on. And I don't know if anybody else feels that way about their employees and how they do it, but there's got to be a happy medium, And I think that what I found is that I'm always going to have to work at it. It's part of me to have to bust my butt to do great, but it's also part of me to probably expect too much from someone that's making $3.13 an hour. And the way that I talk to them is just as important as the content of what I'm trying to talk about. But it is incredibly hard. So that is an absolute challenge. I have no idea how long I've been talking. I have no idea how long I have. I've got 5 minutes. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I guess the next biggest challenge for me, and the probably the best learning that we've had, is that after about probably 4 or 5 months of doing business, my wife and I laid in bed at night and talked about what if with this business. And one of the things that we said is that we were absolutely going to make this a community business, and we're going to absolutely give back to not only Christian charities, the community, things that we personally believed in, try to help people with it, whatever we could possibly do. And after 4 months, she says, hey, I'm going to go visit my parents in California. And I've asked you like 5 times, what are we doing to give back? And you keep on saying, oh, I'll do something about it later. Oh, I'll figure it out later. And I even told her I was going to pray about it. She goes, your praying's done, bro. She says, if I get back and you haven't done something about giving, I'm out. I ain't helping you look at schedules. I'm not helping you run the floor. I'm not helping you think about it. And I'm like, oh my goodness. What am I going to do if she doesn't do it? And she laid down the gauntlet. And, I instantly got on board with a little nudging. And I can tell you that part of our business is probably the most rewarding thing that I've ever had. And I just want to publicly thank my wife for holding me accountable. I mean, that was cool. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe the last kind of failure that I have is, it goes along a little bit with the first one, is I constantly have this vision of what I want to have done, and I know how to do it. I have some experience in this job. And so, for example, with my chef, who I love, I want to get something done, and I have to constantly remind myself that he needs to be coaxed in a way, and he needs to be shown in a way. He needs to have it done the way he wants it done. I need to figure that out. And he's an interesting, artistic-minded guy. The funny thing is every time I try to get him to do something, he changes the way he wants to be told to do it. Honestly. But you know what? As a leader, that's my responsibility to figure out. So I'm learning at the ripe age of 49 that I not only have to address people the way they want to be addressed when they're under my leadership, but I have to do it the way they want it. And oh, by the way, that changes all the time. And I just want to be relevant to them, and I want to be relevant, I just want to be relevant. So, okay. So, kind of in summary, I guess, I would tell you that being here might indicate to me that you are interested in leading women. And your example is unbelievable. And I think that just from my own experiences watching people interact with my wife, is that there's a long ways for our society to come to accept women business leaders. When there's so many people that come up to my wife and I'm standing remotely and they go, "Oh, are you the owner's wife?" And I want to go, "God, she's the owner. You know, she's the one that really leads me in a lot of ways. I know how to get it done, but she has this really unique, cool way of thinking about things in the future and how it all works. And it's really her leading me to tell you the truth. And that is the honest truth. I am probably the face because I walk up to your tables. I'm probably the face because I'm a guy and people give me that credit. But it is a 100%, partnership between my wife and I. And what you're doing is going to change that. Pretty soon people are going to realize that it's not just the guy that's leading, it's the woman too. And I think that what you do, and just by being here and thinking about it, is pretty admirable. And my hat off to you. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So I have bigger prizes now. Okay. Now this is all about, did you listen? Okay? Not if you know Saul Good. So did you really listen to the presentation? Because there's big gun prizes now. Okay? All right. So, does anybody by chance recognize who probably gave us our first loan? Who? Who did? Laura. Oh my goodness! You got her right here. I know. Look at this. You listened so well. Thank you. And then, oh, by the way, Laura, we couldn't have done anything without you. So thank you. And did anybody remember who really helped us figure out our whole marketing plan?
Janet.
Janet? Oh, look, right here. And Janet, here's a little something. I'm sure you're gonna wear this cap everywhere. Thank you. And just like to extend a really heartfelt thanks to Carol and her crew for putting this all together, and we really appreciate being here.
Wearing your print.
I know, she's doing it. Hey, and just something that we do for people that just ask. If you care to have our business plan because you want to start your own business, if you want any of our information, anything, I'll give you every bit of what I have electronically. I'll give you anything you want. If you have the guts to try this, I'll show you exactly how to do it. So contact me. You can get us through our website. It's right on there, rob@saulgoodpub.com. That is absolutely what I owe this community. So it's no obligation. It would be a joy to help you in any way we could. Good? Have a nice day.
Did you have anything to do with that?
Well, remotely, but I didn't actually run that one. But I got to visit and I got to hang out with those people. I trained a bunch of their managers. Yeah.
Okay, anybody else? Okay.
How do the kids work with all this? You have two young kids, and you're a 24/7 business.
To be honest, I mean, we're super. We're super thankful that our business happens at lunch and at dinner. And for example, I probably take and pick up